All right. It is a Wednesday.
Is
It's
that what it
Wednesday.
is?
It is.
Wednesday?
We didn't have you yesterday, but we got you today, and you're wearing a golf shirt because that is still the big story in the sports world, isn't it?
No, because it's 77 degrees out. You get tired of wearing long shirts all season long, all year long in the state of Michigan, to be perfectly honest with you. It's amazing the people that think just because you wear a golf shirt that you've been playing golf. Nothing could be further from the truth. Not meaning to get on you. It's just that's what everybody says. Oh, I've been out playing golf today. No, I have not been playing golf today. It's cold all year in Michigan, so when you do get a nice day, you just soon wear, don't worry, this comes off and the uniform goes on at 6:20.
So when I wear my golf shirt later, it's not because I'm going golfing. It's just because I got to get out of these news clothes.
Yeah.
But big news is still the PGA merger with the side that they were suing, that they said they were going up against, Live, and a Saudi-backed.
This story is going to go on minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, till at least I'm dead. Because there's so many unknowns. It's new territory. Everybody has an opinion. We've got frayed nerves. We have political opinions. We have divided opinions. And when you don't have any background to go by that this is new territory, all you can do is predict as opposed to say, well, this is the way it's going to work because that's the way we've been
There's
doing
no
it.
precedent for any of
No
this.
precedent. That's correct.
But how did we get here?
We got here, in my opinion, because the commissioner of the PGA was reactive and not proactive. In my opinion, had if it was me, the moment I heard Phil Mickelson complaining about the restraints the PGA Tour had on players after he won the PGA a couple of years ago, I'd have called him in and I sat him down and I'd say, let's see if we can work this thing out. I'd have called more players in and we'd sat all around and say, okay, guys, this is your tour. What do you think we need to do to change it to make it so you like it? He didn't do any of that. He stood his ground and said, those are the rules. If you don't like them, leave. Words to that effect.
Right.
He was what I would call arrogant, which the PGA Tour has not always been arrogant, but with other commissioners, when Ernie Els from South Africa had some issues with where he couldn't play, the PGA Tour made some accommodation for him, and no one was, it didn't do anything bad for the tour. But I think this commissioner, I don't think he thought that this would ever get to where it's got. And
Or as fast as it got here?
well, if this would have all, first of all, the government's looking at antitrust violations by the PGA Tour. I think they're afraid they could lose that. Then all of their books are going to be open on deposition of all the suits that they're facing. And to avoid that, this is kind of where they had to go. I think they think that the live tournaments down the road will dry up and the Saudis will pay the money to help make the PGA and the European Tour more lucrative than what it is now. If that's the case, then this could have, a solvable ending moving forward. It's just more money for all the players. But this is uncharted territory. We got a lot of egos involved here. We got a lot of hurt feelings involved here. You got it written down here, Jay Monahan's future with the PGA Tour.
I do.
That's hard for me to predict, but I would not say it's 100% in stone that he's going to survive it.
All right. What do the impact of Koepka's win have to do with this?
Well, that contributes to it because if you want the best players in the world to play in your tournaments,
Which you do.
which you do, I mean, this is the nature of the Ryder Cup. He's a live player. He is suspended from the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour does not govern the Ryder Cup. The PGA of America does. That's a separate entity. That's more of the club pros. But the Ryder Cup's on. So I think he would have been able to get it anyway. Now, the Ryder Cup, to me, it's not the American team that's going to be affected as much as it'll be the European team because the European team's got a lot of live players that might be able to contribute to Europe. I think Koepka's probably the only American live player that would be worthy of playing in Rome in September in the Ryder Cup. I could be wrong, but there are not going to be political issues that are going to interfere with whoever the captains of each country or each team want to choose. That was eliminated yesterday with this. I think it'll be interesting to see when all these live guys apply for reinstatement, Are we just talking a formality, or are we talking something more complicated than that that has not come out yet? Stay tuned.
What about the impact of TV and broadcasting?
Well, that's
for all this?
what are the networks going to do? You know, they have contract. I mean, look, it's like other sports. College sports have changed with a portal and NIL. Baseball's changed with a pitch clock and new rules. The NFL has a new collective bargaining agreement. They play almost. I mean, they're all changed. So golf has changed a bit. So now are the networks going to try to change with it and embrace the changes? Which my suspicion is they will, because it's in their best interest to keep all of the professional golf world happy with what they're doing. Plus, the Masters guy, Fred Ridley, today came out and he approved of all this. And to me, that's an enormous affirmation that this is going to work down the road, because when the Masters says jump, everybody in golf says how high.
Very much.
So.
We do have a lot of golfers came out right away and mentioned a few things. I know some of them were trying to be a little bit funny about it. Some of them were a little bit more serious. I do have today Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy?
That one. It's not working. I had a really good full screen that I was really proud of. Anyway, we're gonna play here.
Well, he's the Canadian Open champion, so he's at the Canadian Open. It begins tomorrow, so the champion always speaks to the media. But what do you think the media wanted to ask him about? Can he repeat as the winner, or do you think they want to know about this, his opinion? Does this have sound on it?
It does.
Jimmy Dunn saying, hey, can I give you a call in the morning? So I said, sure. Jimmy rang me at about 6:30 yesterday morning. We had a chat. Took me through the news, took me through the deal, the structure of the deal, what it meant for us, what it meant for the DP World Tour. So yeah, I learned about it pretty much at the same time everyone else did. And yeah, it was a
All right. I do have here his actual quote. I still hate live. Like, I hate live. I hope it goes away, and I will fully expect that it does. I think that's where the distinction here is. This is the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, and the PIF. Very different from live.
Well, he's saying PIF is those are the initials for the fund, the money fund from Saudi Arabia. He's saying if you want to give us some money to pay for the tournaments, fine. That's different from paying for your own tournaments. But that hasn't been determined publicly yet. And the 2024 schedules for golf have not been revealed at all, because I don't think they know. That's why I say this is going to change. It's going to be updated hour after hour, day after day moving forward, because a lot of the golf year has yet to be played. 2 majors are down, 2 to go, plus the Ryder Cup. So there's going to be a lot of media coverage, a lot of quotes, a lot of opinions.
There is.
A lot of rancor.
I feel like it's just getting started.
It is. It's just this.
No end in sight.
This chapter is just getting started.
It's going to be a long chapter.
I think it's going to be a year of adjusting to all this to see where all of this is headed. So
at least
keep giving us something to talk about, especially in the warm weather months.
There you go. Always looking for that. Speaking of what we're going to be talking about in warm weather months, what is coming up tonight on
we have a lot of local golf stuff that goes in it. This is not the only golf story on Channel 10 tonight. There are local golf stories that we're assembling now of relevance. This is regional tournament opening day for high school baseball. There are 8 Mid-Michigan teams in action at 5 o'clock today. So Fred will have all that on the late sports tonight. And then what in lacrosse, Hazlitt Williamston, I think, is playing East Grand Rapids, and that's in the is it the semifinals today? That's big too. So that's the high school end of it. But the Tigers have lost 5 in a row. They close out their road trip at Philadelphia tonight. Then they come home. They're off tomorrow. They host the Arizona Diamondbacks on a weekend. They've scored 6 runs in the last 5 games on the road. So they got their own problems besides the golf.
They do. All right. Well, that's what's coming up. And I'm actually going to leave you with Rory's full statement.
Yeah, leave me with Rory's, you know. My
got so
mother
many
always
buttons
said,
here.
if you can't say something nice about someone, don't say anything at all. Rory, did you hear that?
He spoke for almost 2.5 minutes, so let's listen.
I got a text message on Monday night, I guess, from Jimmy Dunn saying, hey, can I give you a call in the morning? So I said, sure. Jimmy rang me at about 6:30 yesterday morning. We had a chat, took me through the news, took me through the deal, the structure of the deal, what it meant for us, what it meant for the DP World Tour. So yeah, I learned about it pretty much at the same time everyone else did. And yeah, it was a surprise. I knew there had been discussions going on in the background. I knew that lines of communication had been opened up. I obviously didn't expect it to happen as quickly as it did. But I really think that, from what I gathered, the tour felt they were in a real position of strength coming off the back of the DP World winning their legal case in London. It sort of weakened the other side's position, and they went in there, and the way Jimmy described it, Rory, sometimes you got 280 over water and you just got to go for it. And that's what they did. And I think ultimately, when I try to remove myself from the situation and I look at the bigger picture and I look at 10 years down the line, I think ultimately this is going to be it's going to be good for the game of professional golf. I think it secures it unifies it, and it secures its financial future. So there's mixed emotions in there as well, as there's going to be. I don't understand all the intricacies of what's going on. It's a very what's the word? There's a lot of ambiguity. There's a lot of things still to be sort of thrashed out, but at least it means that the litigation goes away, which has been a massive burden for everyone that's involved with the tour and that's playing the tour. And we can start to work toward, some sort of way of unifying the game at the elite level.
All right, so you heard from Rory there. That was speaking with the media ahead of this week's RBC Canadian Open at Oakdale Golf and Country Club. Our news team is going to be all over this story. We have got plenty of golfers in that department, so they're going to be covering this for you as we learn more, like Tim said, each and every day, following this news of the merger between the PGA and LIV. So we will have more sports for you tonight, starting with News 10 at 6 p.m. We hope to see you then.